So will this be the week for Efir, Bssp? Both companies working on becoming pink current. Both companies have the same CEO, and both companies have mentioned a merger. This is going to be a crazy Monday for these companies. When you looked at the volume sheet last week, Hcmc really was catching my eye. Noho, Hpil, which I did a video on them. If you want to check that out, you can go check that out. Phil, GTEH. There's quite a few on this list that I've checked out and that I've stayed with over the course of 2020, 2021, and followed through with. Asdn is another stock that I've watched closely through 2019, 2020, into 2021, seeing where they're going. They've stayed above this line, and they've really, I followed them back when they're at double zeros, but they came up, and I think that they still have a rise in them, and it might take them a few years to get to a high level, but they're one of those stocks that I think they've reached like $7. So they could potentially, going into 2022, you could see them triple back and become another play because they have a new CEO and they have their Horizon deal, which is going flying. So check out horizonaircraft.com or go check out ASDN. Now on Hpil, they're back above their line where I think that they're just going to do good things and keep going in their direction. Phil is another one of those. Go check them out. And this is just on OTC reviews. Just a quick recap before we hit Monday morning. So Phil, if they get back to staying on another upward trend like they have, they could finish off 2021 with a strong finish. Noho, they're definitely building up that volume like I showed you, and if they have another week like they did last week, you can definitely see that reflection coming. I think if you get in on Noho, it's definitely one of those, if you're in on one, you probably want to be in on the other, which would be Drnk. With Drnk, they've definitely been keeping themselves elevated, and if they stay elevated to where they are, they could take off as well. Now, Blue was one that I watched, and with BLUU, because you can't really say blue, but it's a shell company, so they were a holding company where they're really trying to do things, and they had gotten delisted to OTC. The shell, the blue, was being looked at for reverse merger, so you might want to educate yourself on reverse mergers if you don't know much about them. It was a Myanmar company. The stock caught attention of OTC traders who jumped it up to capitalize on this by buying early and began to pump the stock up. And I put that because you can see where the major pump was. I had checked this stock out way before it got pumped up. And then it came back down, and it's been waiting to see if it goes pink and what happens to this. But it's kind of fizzled, but it's staying above that line. It came down to, I think, like 0004. I think it was at, to like 0006 this last week when I was watching it. And it kind of just fluctuated in there. So if this stock, like Bssp, if it was to take off, this would probably be the week to do it. I checked this stock out, and if you're interested, SBET, it seems like they're doing good things. They have some potential going for them, and if they continue to build their volume up, I could definitely see them rising up definitely towards that $7 mark soon. So they could definitely go up and break 6 and head towards 7 here in the next week or so if they continue to build the volume and do what they're doing. WTII, it's with very large companies looking into their tech. This is one of those that with water is definitely a necessity, but with capturing water and stuff, I think it's Lowe's. I was going to do a video on them, but they have big orders that should be coming soon. So they're definitely a low float right now, but they're building volume, and if they get into big oil and they have some big companies really invest in them, you could definitely see this stock take off. TWOH, they've had a really strong revenue growth, and this last year they really impressed me. So if you look at them just over the last 6 months, they were up there over 350K, almost 4,500% revenue increase compared to the January to June 2020. So comparing 10Qs, like looking at everything, I think with food delivery and meal kits, this company definitely has some potential going for it. Which brings us back to the Bssp. They've stayed above their line. Their volume continues to build. And I think if they go pink this week, you could definitely see them go to 003, and they could climb back up there. I think their highest was a 0054. So they definitely have potential going for them. EFIR, they're going back up there. And with what just happened down south and oil, natural gas, when you look at the fossil fuels, things that we are going to be using, there's definitely going to be a demand and increase, so you're going to see them rise. So there's some definite potential going on in the OTC market. It will be a big week heading into September. So if there's a Christmas for OTC, I think those people that invested in stuff may see that Christmas in September here. Make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you do your research. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just putting out stock news, things to pay it forward, companies to make people aware of, where maybe you're checking out other companies, but these might have been some companies you overlooked or never heard of. So it just pays it forward, put some information out there. I hope everybody has a good, safe Monday. Have a good week.